Greetings and salutations. Today's lesson is lesson 65, and it is decimal parts of a meter. Now we are jumping into the metric system today, and actually today's lesson is the first half is on the video, and then we're going to play with it more in class. So really, today's video is very short because in class, we will actually be working with it a lot more and being able to play with it and talk about it. Really, what I'm going to have you do today is copy down a chart and see if you can kind of see if it makes sense, knowing that tomorrow we will be talking about it a lot more. So lesson 65, the decimal parts of a meter. Okay, this is what I would like for you to do. Drop down about 5 or 6 lines and then go to the very middle of your paper and draw a line. And on that line, write the word base. This is one of those lessons where it's going to work out well because you get down a lot of information, and then tomorrow you'll be able to understand it a lot better. Now, when I say base in the metric system, I could be talking about liters, I could be talking about meters, I could be talking about grams, because all of those are a base unit of measure in the metric system. So our base is going to go right there in the middle. Now, what I want you to realize is we're going to be talking about the decimal parts and the multiples of a meter or of anything that's a base. A meter, a liter, or a gram. So let's, instead of talking about the decimal, the smaller parts first, let's talk about this base getting bigger. I want you to make a step up, and on that step up, I want you to put deca, D-E-K-A. And then just underneath it, put a 10. Now here's where I want you to be thinking, and I think as we go it'll make more sense. If I have a gram as my base, when I put 10 grams together, I have a decagram, because see, that little 10 tells me it is 10 of my base, and I put the word in front of it. So 10 grams would be a decagram. 10 liters would be a decaliter. 10 meters would be a decameter. Now, go up another little step and put down hecto. H-E-C-T-O. And then underneath it, put a little 100. So back to my base, if I have a gram, 10 grams would be a decagram. Now, if I put 100 grams together, I'm going to have a hectogram. So that's 100 of my base. Then one more step up, hopefully it'll fit on the screen here, is kilo or kilo, depends upon what you're using. And math is not thinking hard, it's thinking smart and finding patterns. Hopefully you would have been able to figure out that we're going to write 1,000 underneath there. Because if I have 1,000 grams, I have a kilogram. If I have 1,000 meters, I have a kilometer or kilometer. If I have 1,000 liters, I have a kiloliter. So those are multiples going up, getting bigger. So this would be 10 of my base, or if I have 10 decas, I get a hecto. If I have 10 hectos, I get a kilo. So it's going up. Now, because we're talking about decimal parts of the meter also, that's what happens when they get smaller. So if I take my liter and I break it up into 10 parts, and draw yourself a little line down, 10 parts, and I take 1/10 of it. That would be called a deci. So like a decimeter, a decigram, a deciliter. That's when I take my base and I divide it into 10 pieces and I take one of those pieces. Now if I take my base and I divide it into, again, math is not thinking hard, it's thinking smart. I divide it into, hopefully you in your head right away said, oh, 100, yes. That would be centi. That's where you get a centimeter, is a meter divided into 100 pieces and I take one of them. That's a centimeter. A liter divided into 100 would be a centiliter. A gram divided into 100 is a centigram. Now, again, not thinking hard, thinking smart. One more step down. If we divide it into 1,000, like, see the pattern? That's one thing I love about the metric system. It's all tens and working with wholes and tens. This one I know you're familiar with, milli. A millimeter is I've taken my meter, I've divided it into 1,000 pieces, took one of them, and it's a millimeter. Now, if I divide it into 1,000 pieces, it's a milli. If I divide it into 100 pieces, it's a centi. If I divide it into 10, it's a deci. So if I have 10 decimeters, I have 1 meter, because this is worth 10. If I have 10 centimeters, I equal 1 decimeter. And if I have 10 millimeters, I will have 1 centimeter. So it's like a stair step. Realizing that this way is getting smaller pieces and this way is getting bigger pieces. And we're going to take a look at how that works with this decimal moving, which will help us out. But we're going to do that tomorrow. Believe it or not, that's all that I have for you today in the video. Make sure that you kind of think it through a little bit and that you can kind of see we're all stepping backwards and forwards from our base. We're either going to get bigger from our base or we're going to get smaller from our base. And that's it. Have a wonderful evening.